What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 56 of the Beanball Podcast.
What's going on, everyone?
56, man. 56.
Yeah.
It's impressive for starting a podcast when we were in the middle of COVID and didn't even know if we were having a season.
Yeah. That was very interesting times. And now more and more ballparks are opening up.
Yeah. I was just watching the game before we came in here as the Mets against the Nationals, and everybody in National Stadium looks like they're having a great time, and nobody's wearing masks, and they're just all over the place. So it's like normal.
Yeah, man. It's great. It's great to see. I know the other day was Padres' first 100% back, and they had the walk-off to win the game.
Yeah, man.
So the place erupted for the first time in, 2 years?
But that's
especially because you think about it, they didn't really have fans last year when they finally got good. So now it's something to get excited about out in San Diego.
Yeah, I mean,
so I imagine they said how the atmosphere felt like for the first time in how long.
I bet it felt amazing. The team finally getting to hear some fans cheering, and probably good times.
Good stuff, but man. And then we got College World Series finally starting back up this weekend. We got our final 8 teams.
Yep.
UVA somehow getting back in there for the first time, being defending champs.
Well, I mean,
15, so they worked their way back.
I mean, they beat some quality teams to get in. ODU.
Yeah, I think the biggest shocker is number 1 seed getting outed. So it's going to be interesting.
This is baseball, man. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Just like you said with football. You know, you got these football teams, and there's we're ranked number 1, and then they end up playing each other, and it's about time they got to a playoff format, because you never really know. There's so many good teams out there.
Yeah, I'm very excited for with college football to finally get to the 12-team system here in a couple of years. It makes sense. The first 4 like it is, they get the first round bye, but then you get 8 other teams get a chance.
Yeah.
Which that's all you need is a chance. And, it's about time they finally do it. So baseball, we got a taste of it last year. It could be coming sooner next year. We don't know. But let's go and get out to the biggest topic this week, and we kind of talked about last week but MLB finally sent the memo out about foreign substance. What's their game plan, the suspensions, and it didn't come out great. A lot of people were not happy.
Yeah, man. Apparently, MLB knows it's been going on. They haven't really been enforcing it. They're just turning a blind eye. Yeah. And now all of a sudden they're just at this given moment, just hey, you can't use anything anymore. No grip, nothing. No sunscreen. Stop.
Yeah, which some players, that's what they started using. A little sunscreen. It helped that little grip. And then first player out the gate was Glasnow.
Mm-hmm.
Came because he stopped using it,
and he said that's why he got injured. Right?
Yeah, because he couldn't have the grip on the ball the night before, and they believe that's how he partially tore his elbow. And they're hoping it's not Tommy John. He can try to rehab it to be back for a late season push and playoffs. And
the next one, that's been apparently
vocal,
Garrett Cole.
Yeah, Mr. I don't know how to answer that question, to suddenly being, try to sound very, what am I going to say, educational, try to sound intellect about the situation, but didn't sound that great trying to explain it.
Yeah, when I first heard the player side of it, I get it. Everybody uses something for the most part to grip the ball, which, you and I both said that we're on that side because we don't want them hitting anybody. But when I first heard the players talking about it, it just sounded like a bunch of crybabies to me. I was like, man, you guys know this is illegal, and everybody's here like, oh, I can't pitch anymore. I got to do something, blah, blah, blah. But I get it, though, because the MLB's known about this forever, and everybody's been doing it. So it's been it's like an unwritten rule. We use the stuff for grip.
This is our modern-day steroid scandal.
Yeah.
Think about it. MLB knew back in the 90s that steroids was happening.
Right now.
They kind of turned a blind eye to a certain point, then they finally cracked down on it. And then you had the players who you thought used it. Well, we had the players who thought, look at their spin rate increase, how much better pitchers they became. So it would be like, okay, we got to stop this.
Because now the pitcher's getting an unfair advantage, and that's why we're seeing a lot of strikeouts. Maybe we thought it was the ball being deadened or whatever, but if everybody's using something to get an advantage as a pitcher, well, the batters aren't, they're not getting any advantages.
And especially now, a lot of more fans and us are realizing that some of these good pitchers last couple of years have now almost became human again overnight.
Exactly, because you used to seeing some pitchers who have the filthiest stuff, but if you take away their sunscreen or whatever they're using to get some tackiness on the ball, and then all of a sudden they're throwing meat down the pipe and they're getting ripped. I think that's what the MLB wants to do. The reason I think that they're coming after these players for the foreign substance abuse or use, anyways, is because they want to see more hits. They want to see more stuff. But if the pitcher's coming out there looking filthy, they want to take something away from them to even the playing field.
Like the whole thing was, before all this, about moving the mound back, which I think is still going to happen because everyone's throwing gas compared to what it was.
Yeah, hundreds is not an everyday thing now.
Yeah, but there's no offense in baseball much anymore. You have your breakout games, but you have your pitching duels a lot more than what you used to kind of have.
And this could be because of the foreign substance.
Yeah.
So you got the pitchers who have the advantage. And all the batters coming up these days, they're not thinking single. Every single one of them is doing like a Mark Reynolds. They're either hitting home runs or they're out. So if everybody's trying to hit the ball deep, and now you got the pitchers with the advantage, so that's going to create. That's probably why we saw a lot of no hitters early in the season. Something's going on.
People probably heard stuff, especially after the Angels scandal last year about the visiting clubhouse manager giving away stuff. Well, nothing really came out, so like, well, let's go ahead and try it. And the first part of the season, people were doing great, and MLB's like, oh, we're going to keep track of it, but they probably did got track, but they got more information from the balls.
Yeah.
And now they're like, okay, we got information. A lot more people are cheating than what we thought was. We got to do something.
So it makes you wonder, like, I don't know, man. It's just a lot going on.
It is. It's like it's very shocking to me mid-season.
Right.
And that's what a lot of pitchers and players like, maybe, say start next season, we'll try to figure it out to get our grip better, blah, 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 blah. But mid-season, they got to figure out real quick.
I wonder if they have statistics on this stuff. And I wonder if they have statistics on the different substances and how they affect the ball. So what if, I'm not saying that it's great or not, but if it was my call, and I might crack down on certain substances that I know are crazy, but maybe something else. I'm not sure if sunscreen or something that is lighter that gives you better grip, but not going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
I might let that slide because I think they need something other than a rosin bag. But I mean, I don't know what Trevor Bauer showed.
Yes.
That the rosin and sweat
was
pretty sticky. So they might have to learn to do it again.
Yeah. They'll have to come up with something because they're talking about changing the clay on the ball for the first time in 100 years,
and that's because MLB owns Rawlings now, right?
Yes, they
because
have full control over the ball.
Because when Rawlings owned it, they had a specific area of mud.
Yes.
You could only use mud for the ball from one special area, and now, like you said, they're doing their own thing.
They're trying to figure it out.
Something
maybe
different.
Something help grip then. Well, you got to do something because if it's sweat, I understand, when it's cold, first part of the season, you want people to have better grip so you don't get hit.
Yeah.
Especially Kevin Pillar, for example, that would get much more happening if people don't have grip, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
man.
They need to figure out something the sticky tack from Amazon, apparently it's dirt cheap. It's very accessible. A lot of people, that's what we're hearing. Sunscreen, if that's something accessible, pine tar, you got to think about it. It's okay to use on a bat, but not on a ball. But hell, what happens if the ball gets hit touches the pine tar on the bat, and now it's on the ball, and by golly, the ump checks it then.
Exactly.
And there goes your suspension.
Right. And the way guys tar their bats up, that could easily happen.
Yeah.
But I'm also thinking back in the day when we were watching games when we were probably kids in the late 90s, they had a rosin bag on the back of the mound, and all the pitchers would go to it. I don't know when because I don't really see them on the mound anymore these days. I'm just wondering when they got away from that and started using other things. But I agree with you, man. Like tar, that's probably too much, and that could probably have an effect on it. But something that's light, that just enough to give you the grip you need. They need to meet in the middle. What would you do if it's your call?
I honestly would be look, we're watching this the rest of the season. We're going to check periodically if someone just get an idea, take balls, from every pitcher just to see kind of what's the different scenario. And then in the off season, come up with a solution where we're allowing this, and this to be used. Mm-hmm. If y'all don't like the rosin, even though rosin's sweat, but like I said, cold months, you don't get really sweat that much at first. So that probably a little harder to get. So you need something in the cold months, especially in playoffs. You're going to need something cold because we're going to play months then. So they got to come out with something like you're allowed to use besides just rosin. We have this substance that is approved by MLB to use this for pitching. And I bet players, both pitching and batters, will approve of it so they don't get hit.
Yeah, I mean, even earlier today, Jerry Blevins from the Mets came out and said that, he retired this season. He threw for 13 seasons, and he said, out of the 8,000 plus pitches he threw, 95% of the time he had sunscreen and rosin on his forearm.
Which apparently that's been a thing for years.
That's what I'm saying. And, you always see a lot of guys, like the other day, obviously, I think last night, the Angels were on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, the YouTube game.
Otani was pitching. Of course you have to watch. And every single time, I'm just watching him to see what he's doing on the mountain because I'm like, well, everybody's doing something. And he always goes to the back of his hat, adjust it or something. You always think, oh, has he got something there? Because we don't know.
Or does he sweat? Like it's enough that
right, yeah, he touches
it.
his hair. Is that enough? We don't know. But the point is, every pitcher, most of the pitchers are doing something just to get a better grip because if not, like you said, what happened to PR or it could happen. You know what I'm saying? It could happen.
Yeah. And it could be simple of, like I said, if messes up your mechanics, because now you have to grip more like Glasnow's saying, it could have a negative effect on their arm now.
Right. And what Blevins was saying earlier is that, was it illegal? Technically, yes, but did it give him an advantage? He said no, it did not give him an advantage. And I can agree with him because he wasn't throwing the filthiest stuff in the world. I mean, yes, he's a great pitcher. He was a good pitcher for us, but he's not like it was crazy.
Like pretty much it's the rosin and sunscreen gives you a little bit better grip than just sweat and rosin.
Right.
Technically, rosin's good. It helps probably instead of just sweat being that liquid, it's more of a thicker liquid to help. Maybe it gives it a little more stickier than you're allowed. And you get the grip more and have more control.
All right, and back to the Blevins thing. So, like I said, he was asking his teammates even about the balls, and they were saying, the MLB baseball is trash.
Yeah.
And like I said, the MLB baseball is slippery. So if the MLB can find a way, maybe it's different mud, maybe something before the game starts. If they can find a way to get a tackier ball in general, then it might be something to, agree with the substance being taken away. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe over the years, them taking over, it's not as... Like you said, it's been worse.
Mm-hmm.
So now they came up with their own solution, which is most of them is the sunscreen and rosin. Come up with something yourself, MLB. Make something improve so that everyone is happy with what they're given.
Right. Something that's tacky enough to where it's going to help them get a better grip, but it's not going to make a big difference on giving them an advantage over hitters. I think they can come with some common ground.
Yes.
But I don't know what their stance is on this. I don't know where MLB's coming because they're just basically saying nothing.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's black and white. We said no, don't do it. If you do it, you're out.
And it's like if you do get caught. So I'm very interested if when and who will be the first one caught. Because, yes, you get suspended for 10 games, but with pay.
Yeah, vacation.
But the team loses you because they cannot replace you on the roster.
Yes.
So it's we're going to shame you as a player, but your team is going to really hurt you.
So the way I think it's going to go down is once the first person gets caught, it's going to spread like wildfire because there's players and other teams that know who's using what, and they're going to point it out and say, check this guy because I know he uses something. If he's out there and nobody's hitting him, they're going to make them check him. So it's going to be like a witch hunt.
And especially it's on the umpire's discretion.
Yeah.
Most of the time they'll come out and check, and especially if a manager wants them to check, like
they're going to be out there talking.
My thing is like, okay, what do they know is legal rosin stickiness, or what is something extra stickiness?
I don't know.
How much training can you do this within, a weekend? Because this starts, Monday morning?
So not enough. So what I think is going to happen is, like I said, it's going to be a big witch hunt.
The
umpires know who the main guys are probably, and the coaches before the game might even talk to them and say, hey, if this guy comes out, I want you to check him. So when they get out there and they check him, you know what they're going to do. The umpire's going to say, let me see your glove, let me see your hat. They're going to look for the things that they're used to looking for. I don't know if they're going to check their forearms and stuff like that, but... Yeah, it'd be like a UFC fight. Check the fighter before he gets in.
So that's what
there.
I'm wondering. Is it going to be the second base ump that, since they're coming from, especially if they're coming from the bullpen, is he the one's going to check them? Is the main ump going to check them to start the game? Like, it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to Monday to see how these games are going to roll and who's going to be the judge, who's not going to be the judge, since it starts Monday.
And we're going to see what happens to the pitcher stats. See what's going on. That'll tell us a lot there.
Yeah, because some pitchers already, they're like, look, he's already doing bad. Like, a couple starts in, like, he's usually a little better. What's going on? Is it something tacky? So the rest of the season, if we see a dramatic increase of some of these good pitchers last 2 years and, the ERA suddenly grows up a little bit, people are like, well, he was cheating.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to think of seeing what they're going to do. I can imagine like a player doing anything to get an advantage right now because if they're taking everything away and you got to use something. Yes, the rosin bag is going to be out there on the mound. They're going to have their sweat, obviously. I think they might even pour some water or something, spit on the dirt, pick up some dirt, some muddy dirt, and that could do something. I don't know, man. Like get some grit on it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun to watch. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's like
sure.
right before you get called from the bullpen, you're gonna pour water on your glove, so you have some waterness, and then you're hit with the rosin. Like
something. Yeah, they're gonna have to be creative.
It is.
And I can't wait to see those flamethrowers and see what they're going to do because, there's some guys that come out of the pen specifically for, a purpose or a closer even and see what they bring.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
We're finding that heat, so they're going to be sweating. So we'll see if the rosin helps. But, man, this is very interesting after, the minor league players finally get suspended. So now MLB came out with like, oh, yeah, you get suspended, but your team's going to lose a spot. I'm like, well, that was the shocker for me. We all expect 10 games, which that's what the minor leagues was. So we're like, okay, nothing new. But the roster spot you couldn't replace. I'm like, oh, that sucks. So that's why like Don Madley apparently came out, had a meeting right after this came out. He's like, if you're doing this, stop now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is going to cause some friction if whoever gets caught.
What's crazy is it feels like baseball's in like a weird time to be a professional baseball player because there's so many different rule changes either being looked at or coming into play now. There's a lot of changes going on, but you look at other sports, they don't have it. They're not. This is drastic changes.
Yeah.
If you think about everything they've been implementing, everything we've been talking about, these are like big game changers.
So that's why more and more our commissioners getting looked at, scrutinized.
Yeah.
Even more like, yes, you want to improve the game, but you're doing some dramatic stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Too much stuff. So much stuff so that the managers might not even know what they're doing because, like, well, what's legal right now? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep an eye on moving forward. That's
I understand last year, it was real difficult, with the double header rule, who can be this, and now with the whole man on, like,
yep.
Tony La Russa didn't know that you can choose if it's the pitcher who's the last person out, like. It's kind of hard to keep track. Like, oh, I could have done that. Like, it's just
exactly,
man.
But you got too much going on.
It is like, especially for the middle, not even middle of the season. Like, you could have done this. Like, okay, look, we're starting after All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have almost a month to figure it out to get ready for this. No, you gave them a week's notice because the memo came out, I believe, Tuesday. It goes in effect Monday.
Right. Not even enough time to adjust.
Yeah, like you are gonna have a lot.
If there's some injuries, yeah,
there's
gonna be
next week. When we do this, it's going to be like, oh, well, we have a boatload of injuries to talk about. And
it's
wonder.
Not, exactly. And it's not going to be just Glass now being upset. It's going to be a whole group of guys that are on his side probably saying the same thing.
Especially if it's like for the like top like elite pitchers the last couple of years.
I hope nobody gets injured. But if
it
happens, I won't be surprised based on the information I'm given at this moment.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that is a very interesting topic. Not like we said, we can't wait to see who and when, if it ever happens.
I'm sure we'll be talking about it sometime this season.
Yeah, because unfortunately, I'm almost certain you can't appeal it because you're like you said, Trevor Bauer said, you judge, you're an executioner.
And that's what's crazy because what if somebody wasn't using anything and they thought he was, and they're just going to pull him?
What happens if Rosin got on the ball?
Yeah,
it's not his fault, but yet you're going to suspend him 10 games and duck the team a player for 10 games spot. Yeah,
it's a tough situation, man. It sounds like a lose-lose to me. I don't know where we're going to go from here, but we'll see.
Yeah. Speaking of lose-lose,
yeah,
man, come on. Minor league, we thought, with the big clubs taking over the team, stuff is going to get better.
Yeah. Less minor leaguers.
Yeah.
Right. So the other day, I'm scrolling through the forums and I come across that the Baltimore Orioles AA team has housing issues. Guys are talking about sleeping in their cars.
Yeah.
This is not good. And I'm like, well, what's going on here? Well, apparently when they go play their homestand or whatever, they're only making like $900
after taxes and stuff. Yeah.
Is that a week or is that 2 weeks?
2 weeks. That was a 2 week pay after tax.
Yeah. So if you're thinking in a month they make about $2,000, they rather sleep in their car than pay for rent somewhere.
Yeah. So apparently the hotel that they were putting them up was ending that week, and they're like, "Look, we're gonna sleep in our cars." Well, this is all because COVID. The minor leaguers, they still, it's insane that nowadays that they still think, but
so these guys love to play the game because they are really struggling just to stay in there.
Yeah, but families open up their house, let players stay there and stuff. Well, with COVID, they didn't really get to do that. They have families volunteer. Hell, actually, on this team, there's 2 players together that rent an RV that they sleep in, I guess, in the parking lot of the stadium.
Yeah, that's not good. And I'm telling you why that's not good. Because you need to treat these players with respect and actually like human beings. Yeah. If they're sleeping in a car, how do you expect them to be top peak performance to play in a game?
So the hotel, after they stopped paying for the housing, was going to be 60% of their pay for those 2 weeks.
Yeah, nuts.
That's ridiculous, leaving them like next to nothing.
Right. They can't even make a living, an earning. What do they do? What are they going to do? That's enough to get groceries and pay the bills and nothing else.
Yeah.
You can't even get a place to live. So, yeah, it makes sense that some of these guys are living in,
We're
their
talking
cars.
about car. Well, good old social media caught wind of this, got on Twitter, the forums, it started going out. People starting to GoFundMe to help these players out. Suddenly, the organization figured something out, and they reduced the hotel rate to 40% of the pay.
Terrible. That's not enough.
It's not enough. Like, why can't y'all figure something out? Rent houses, I bet, is pretty cheaper than paying for a hotel per night for homestands.
Absolutely has to be. Yeah, they should rent some houses for these guys, save some money. Yes, they could easily do that.
Yeah.
I don't. And hold on.
You can't even make this like a damn.
Do we know where their AA is?
It's in Maryland, I think.
It is in Maryland? Is it Baltimore?
No.
Okay.
It's outside Baltimore.
Well, what I'm saying is there's plenty of houses in Baltimore that are empty. Plenty of them for super cheap. They can even purchase homes to set the players up. All I'm saying is they got a better solution than this. You can't expect your guys to go out there and play and get better when they have to sleep in their car. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm glad they stepped up and they said the players that they kind of talked to about was going to sleep in the car said, okay, this is at least a little better, more manageable than paying 40% of the
this
bill.
is still this is another issue where I'm saying that baseball's in a bad funk right now all around, and this is just another example of something that's not going right.
Yeah, especially if this is going on social media and let's say get to a 10-year-old who had dreams of playing in the baseball and they're hearing about this shit and they're like, do I want to continue my dream of possibly sleep in my car because they can't afford to house me?
Well, if they got a big enough dream to get to the big show, they would do it, but they shouldn't have to choose like that. They shouldn't have to make those choices. Yeah. They should be in a comfortable position to focus on their craft, to get better, to get the call and help the club.
Just imagine how much, because remember they said they increased the pay.
Yeah, I thought they did.
And I'm like, what was the pay before?
Right, unless you're a big name guy who with a big signing bonus,
had a bonus,
you're struggling.
Yeah, so
you're probably working after the game.
Well, speaking of, Orioles and minor league players, you saw who got DMF today?
Who?
Chance Sisco.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Designated for assignment.
All that for a guy who wouldn't even sign something unless it was like whatever. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So I had to tell Alan this because a couple years ago when he was like the number 1 and number 2 prospect in the Orioles farm system, it was his day for like one of the Sundays, sign days. It was him.
For the Tides, for the AAA, Orioles AAA organization.
So usually
it was a day for the player to sign autographs for people before the game started.
So people brought their cards and stuff.
Brought baseballs. We bought pictures or something.
Yeah, something. And they're like, nope, just signing what we provided.
Right. Some lame sheet like.
Yeah.
Like newspaper press.
Yeah, it wasn't even like
a
card stock thick. It was
like he was such a big shot that he had to only sign what they gave him, and like his agent was or whoever was there, like, no, he only signs this. I'm like, come on, man. Well, so which is crazy because the other guy that they have, Pedro Severino, he's the catcher right now, and he was like on the back burner when they were bringing Chance up.
He was
with the Nationals at that time, but still.
But of course, everyone. I wonder if he got in a funk when they drafted Rushman, and he has not figured out. So maybe he'll figure out, go to another team. If no one ever picks him up, then maybe he signs a deal to stay with the Tides. Who knows? But man, I was like, that sucks, bro.
That's all right, Chance, man.
Should have been better human.
Yeah. Well, you ran into a couple of guys who are really bad as like with people. I mean, I get it. You guys don't want to see the fans. I mean, I get the fans are always asking you for stuff and autographs and this and that, but you don't have to be a dick to them, all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of guys who are like really cool to you guys, and you're just like, blah blah blah. I'm not sure. I'm thinking like maybe Xavier Avery or somebody like or whoever it was.
Yeah, Avery gave a hard time when he saw you multiple times.
Well, that's just fine though. But at least he was cool. But there were some guys.
He just looked at you like, have I signed for you before?
Who was the other guy like him though? Who. I can't think of his name. He was around the same time frame. He was like he's been in the majors. Then he got back down to there, and he never made it back.
Pedro Severino.
No, not Pedro Severino. Well, if I think of it, I'll bring it up next time. I just remember he thought he was a big time guy, and then he just never did anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. I don't know.
It was that same team though.
Yeah.
So I can go back and reference that pretty easily.
But around the same time, that's when Trey Manzini was.
Yeah.
But he signed everything for you.
Yeah, oh yeah, Trey Mancini was there. Christian Walker, Mike Yaz. What a team, man! We just took him for granted.
It's just unfortunately
they didn't put it together.
They didn't call him up. They got blocked, so they went elsewhere. And
right. Well, I'm just saying, as a team when we were watching, they still weren't winning the most games either. But
besides,
the players,
Walker hitting bombs, but they couldn't do nothing because first place was blocked.
Yeah.
But at least he was Diamondbacks. But unfortunately, Diamondbacks is like the worst team in baseball.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
All right, our next topic. So if DeGrom is good to go, which we all know these numbers are insane, could this be a year where both MVP awards could go to pitchers, and Ohtani for the AL and DeGrom for the NL?
That would be cool.
That would be insane and awesome cool.
It would be cool. I think he could do it, absolutely. But I'm still cautious on his arm because the last 2 outings been cut short due to something else. And the announcers had a good thing they were talking about. They were saying, once you have an injury on one part of your arm, you start treating it differently to try not to get that. And then another part might start getting an injury too, which seems it could be happening. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a guy who throws 100 miles an hour every pitch almost. So
especially getting better, especially when he's about to be 33 tomorrow.
Yes,
so
he is.
Happy birthday to DeGrom late by the time this probably comes out. But, 33, you usually think that you're about to start declining. He's only getting better.
Yeah. Freakishly.
Yeah, especially the outing the other day when you only went 3 perfect innings and struck out 8 of the 9 batters you faced. That is unreal. When I heard, I'm like, because I was cutting grass, not paying attention. Then when he left, I'm like, what's going on? But I was like, you hear strikeouts, like, okay, yeah, DeGrom striking out, but when you see it all on paper, like he struck out 8 of the 9 people he faced. I was like, that is unreal.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know. And it was just like, what, 3 innings or
3 innings?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you can't get much better than that, man.
So with, he missed 2 starts and then 2 short starts he's been pulled since coming back from injuries and stuff. He's still like 5th on the list of strikeouts. The 0.5, 4 now ERA and 6 RBIs to only 4 earned runs given up is just insane numbers for a pitcher. Especially batting over 400 on the plate.
Yeah. And
that's another thing. Could it be the batting? He has technically batted in a year. That could be a possibility.
LJ Hose?
He kind of, a little bit. He kind of gave a little butt. But yeah, DeGrom especially, and then Ohtani. A sub-3 ERA still. Yeah. About 12 strikeouts per 9. He went 6 last night.
It's funny when he comes on the mound. I kind of expect I understand his game. It's just like the first batter, he's not coming right at you. He's kind of throwing around the first batter to see what happens, and he usually walks him. And then by the second batter, then he starts getting into it. Whereas DeGrom comes right at every single person because DeGrom knows. Yeah, he's like, you're gonna beat me.
And then when DeGrom's DeGrom, when he's sitting there watching the clock in the outfield. Because he don't start warming up to 6:45, and once that clock's before that, that's when he starts throwing his first balls to warm up. Mm-hmm. He has a structured game plan. That's all right. Everyone around he's a GOAT. I'm learning from him. Like Stroman, Stroman's having one of his best years, and just watching them, and
all the other players, not the pitchers, the other players on the team are backing him on everything. DeGrom's the GOAT, man. He doesn't have to use anything. He's this, he's that. Yeah, he's amazing. So great guy.
Yeah, and for someone who got the 10th round as a shortstop. Converted to a pitcher, to Rookie of the Year, 2-time Cy Young, possibly a third if he can complete it this year, and then even an MVP. Because if you look at the numbers that pitchers who won the MVP the past course, that's Clayton Kershaw and Verlander through 10 games, are nowhere near what DeGrom's numbers are.
His numbers are unreal. They're like mad.
Verlander was just above 2 ERA and just below 2 for Kershaw through the 10.
Which is great.
It is great to start the year.
But when you're talking not even a 1... When you've drove in more runs than you've given up,
I think the craziest stat was they put up where if DeGrom the next 12 batters gives up home runs to those 12,
he'd still be at like a 2.
He'd still be a lower ERA than Garrett Cole is.
Yeah,
and Garrett has like a 2.5.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's insane. And then same announcers, Gary them from SNY, they think it could be just the way baseball is now. That shoulder injury before, back in the day when they pitched, you didn't want to tell the trainer and be pulled from the game.
Mm-hmm.
You said, I have a sore shoulder, and they battle through it.
Yeah.
Now they're more cautious.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like now. It's a very different game now.
Especially because these guys got more stress on their shoulders because they're throwing heat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot going on.
So, like I said, DeGrom gave out today, said everything's feel fine. He pitched a little bit today. He was in outfield during BP, like throwing balls behind his back. So
I honestly think
the big session's tomorrow. So we'll find out more Sunday if he's good to go for Monday.
I think he needs to take one game off. Just get a little bit of extra rest on this arm. Just let it do its healing, and then go out there because twice now he's gone in there and it's been short. I just see that happening again, man. I think you need to take one full week off and then get back into it.
Well, if he does pitch Monday, I think he's definitely gonna have him on a pitch count.
Oh
or
count.
inning count.
Yeah. I'm thinking 5 or 6 innings, 80 pitches. I don't know, man. I don't want to keep stressing it. I just want to let him get an outing, see where he goes, but don't do too much.
Yeah, even like Freddie Freeman reached out to him after and was like, "Yo, we need you every 5 days. You're excited for baseball."
He is. Well,
especially if he'd be the one, I think almost certain that be facing him on Monday. Well, I think it is Atlanta. I think is on the schedule if he does pitch Monday.
Speaking of exciting baseball, let's go back to the Ohtani thing.
Yeah,
Ohtani found out today that he's going to be in the home run derby, dude.
Yeah.
Man, and I know the other day before we heard about this, I texted you about his 19th home run or whatever it was.
His the moonshot,
bro. His swing is just like Griffey like, man. It's like because I've been watching other guys say home runs and they're like, yeah, they're home runs. They look like whatever. They hit the ball, it goes in there. But when he swings, he's got the swagger with the bat. It's just and it's gone, man.
Yeah,
like he ripped it.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's insane.
I can't wait to see him in a home run derby.
So
especially the way we do it these days.
So on Instagram, he put a video out, and at the end, it showed the logo, pretty much announcing that he is in the home run derby.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'll show you after we get done with this. It was just like clips of like no one's done this in 100 years, like them talking like ESPN and other analysts, and then they start showing like his home runs and stuff.
Do we know who else is in the home run derby?
That is it. He's the first player to announce that he's in it.
Well, that's enough. That got me sucked in.
So Pete said he's down to defend his title. So if you think that's 2,
I want to see.
I'm almost saying
Tatis or
I think Tatis could
or
be
Vladdy.
Vlad, remember he was a runner up to Pete
and
2 years ago.
He, in my opinion, out hit Pete. I mean, Pete survived, but he put on the show.
Yeah,
and he was the second round or third round, whatever it was.
Against Jock, they went that hit off like 3 rounds.
Bro, if you could just get those guys alone, I would be excited.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm still excited because Ohtani. That's enough to get me excited. It reminds me back in the day when I wanted to see Ichiro, but Ohtani has got some monster power, dude.
You know, we are 3 weeks away from All-Star game, so within next week we should be hearing more to fill out the rosters for this home run derby.
Plus, they're going to be hitting a course park, which is the hitters park.
That light air. So could we see some record numbers?
I'm going to see some Ohtani bombs, bro.
Man, I'm glad like it's not that we can now get past it that yes he's in it.
Yes.
It's not who's going to be
right.
Those last couple of days you start hearing rumblings that they've possibly been asked to do it. And stuff.
In my opinion, that's one of the most exciting people to put in it. Everybody else, they put it like if they put Vladdy in it or whatever. Yes, we've seen him. Yeah. We know it's going to be cool. But this is something special. It's like, oh man, we get to see Ohtani in a home run derby.
Especially, it's getting.
You don't see pitchers in home run derbies.
Yeah, and it's going to get all the audience in Asia to watch too.
Oh yeah.
So you're thinking about the numbers that for ESPN because ESPN has the home run derby.
Absolutely.
But
I just want him to. I want him to rake. I don't want to be one round. I want him to get out of the first round.
Yeah, hopefully he's a semifinalist or hell even goes to the final or hell if he wins it.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be interesting. He does the home run derby. Everyone's hoping that he pitches an inning.
He would
in
have
the All-Star game.
He would have to,
and then go to the outfield for an inning, something like that, to get one at bat or something.
Yeah. Bro, all I'm saying is if he competes well in the home run derby, the Ohtani legend is going to be growing, man.
Yeah, the Ohtani craze, and then will just gain traction, and especially if he has a complete year, and then say he does have that sub-3 ERA. He's right there within home runs. Yeah, and then that close MVP vote, if Vlad keeps it up, will come down to the votes.
Yeah, I'm not. So this year, I mean, it's hard. It's hard being a pitcher and a hitter.
Yeah,
and that's why when he goes out there on the mound and struggles some days and pitches great some days, I get it because you're doing a lot. So like you said, if he has around a 3-something ERA, that is perfect. That's great. That's where you want to be.
Especially it's not like where he's not playing the night before his start. He played the night before and then he starts the next day.
Exactly.
It's not like he's like, a pitch hitting that game. He is DHing or in the outfield.
He's a workhorse.
Yeah.
He's a workhorse for the team. He is doing everything. So, yeah, man, if he could finish the season with like a 3.3 or 3-something ERA, under 4, I'd be happy. And he continues doing what he's doing with the bat. That's greatness.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting who votes, how they vote 1-2. Like, it's going to come close. And then if everything keeps up, if Vlad keeps it up and he keeps it up, it's going to be interesting.
Let him win this home run derby, man. He'll be on another level.
Yeah.
People aren't going to stop talking about him. It's going to make
his jersey
game
sales is going to go skyrocketing overnight,
bro.
Especially
I
on
need
the
some
big
Ohtani
prime
swag.
side.
I need some Ohtani swag, bro.
Well, yeah, but just the real of an MVP winning, but the possibility of if both these guys keep it up to where 2 could possibly win it will be insane because, let's say like DeGrom does well and does get the Cy Young and then the same year gets MVP. It's like,
yeah.
And then unfortunately say Ohtani is not the best pitcher, but between being one of the better pitchers, like say he finished like second or third in Cy Young, but with his hitting and he does get the MVP, will be unreal.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I said, Ohtani is probably going to get better the more he gets, in a rhythm. Because like you said, this is his first year being healthy.
Fully healthy,
so
finally.
Now his batting's come along. I'm sure he's going to work on his pitching, and he's going to be a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still great now, but I think there's more in the tank because some of his pitches are filthy. And the Japanese got those like super duper freaking sinkers and stuff like that.
Especially
man,
he's
splitters.
doing this without the best player on the planet.
Exactly.
In the lineup.
Think if Trout came back, him, Rendon, Ohtani healthy, yes. Now the Angels could be exciting to watch.
Yeah.
They are exciting now.
They are.
Bring back Trout, prime TV.
Yeah.
You just got to it's hard with the 10 o'clock games, man.
Yeah, if you live on the East Coast like we do, it's at late night games. But I was real surprised that the YouTube game was a late game yesterday because, most of the time all the YouTube so far this year has been day games.
Well, I think it's because, yes, it was a late game. Most people aren't watching day games, but it's Ohtani.
Yeah.
And he's on the mound, and he's hitting. So you it's must-watch baseball. Just like if DeGrom is out there pitching, you got to watch the game.
Most time when DeGrom is pitching, it's the free game of the week.
That's what I'm saying. Because they know you're going to draw a crowd.
Yes.
So same thing with Ohtani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what these guys do. And now with Ohtani being the first one to put his flag down that, yep, I'm in the home run derby.
Yeah,
so it's going to be interesting to see who's next or who's the full lineup going to be. But man, already the home run derby is exciting.
Already.
Like
with one guy named.
Yep. And Pete said he's down to defend his title. And you got to think Vlad probably wants another shot of it. Is Tatis.
He earned it. I don't care what I don't even care if he only had like 4 home runs this year. He should be in it because we know what he's capable of doing.
And then, Tatis is going to be healthy. Does he want to do it? It's going to be interesting. And then if you think about hometown guy, you think Trevor Story, you could possibly be one of the captains like David did that one year when we hosted it.
Yeah.
It could be something like that.
Okay.
So it's going to be very interesting. So we'll keep an eye out. And I think, what is it? Isn't this week remember, round 1 of the All-Star votes will end. And then we have to vote on who's going to be the starter out of the top 3 of each position. So possibly next week we'll look at the starters who got the top votes. We'll see from that like who we would select. And, so you have some time left. You haven't done your All-Star votes yet.
Yeah, get them in.
So I think that is it for us this week. Not too crazy around MLB besides, the big old foreign substance deal.
And we'll keep you guys posted when we hear more about that as well.
Yeah, because like I said, when that first one gets suspended, that's when everyone's going to critique, like, let's look. Can anyone see something? What is he pointing at? Like, what did Ump find?
God forbid it comes from an Astros player.
Ooh. Man. But Astros, they're one of the funny thing is Astros are the best, like, offensive team right now. Like, like plus run score, they are, like, only ones in plus 100, which is insane. Altuve is kind of getting his MVP swag back, so...
Did you see the Yankees did something like a unreal triple play?
Yeah, because the Blue Jays had terrible base running. Instead of just stopping, running to third just to give out the one out, you kind of stuttered and got
so bad,
terrible.
So bad.
God, young Blue Jays, you're great, but sometimes you do some dumb mistakes. So I think that's it for this week. If you like us, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Okay, alright.